This episode is brought to you by Facebook. So you were scrolling on Marketplace, and there it was, the bike you'd been searching for. You sent a message, and it turned out the seller was super chatty, kind of funny, and an avid cyclist. The next thing you know, you're in a cycling crew. Well, a community cycling group. The thing about Facebook, you might find more than what you're looking for. From a browse to a bike ride, this summer find more on Facebook.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
Get business done with the new American Express Graphite Business Cash Unlimited card. With unlimited 2% cash back on all eligible purchases, unlimited 5% cash back on flights and prepaid hotels booked through American Express Travel Online, and a flexible spending capacity that can grow with your business, you'll have the confidence to keep building. Apply today and earn a welcome offer of $1,500 cash back after you spend $50,000 in qualifying purchases on your new card within the first 6 months of card membership. Terms apply. Learn more at go.amex/graphite.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris Wynn. Welcome to How We're the podcast, and welcome to another showing of our version of Room 101. I'm sure most of you will know the score by now, but if you haven't listened to our previous episodes, it's basically Andrew and Jonny letting off a bit of steam on stuff that really winds them up. And while doing so, they also try and convince me to banish them from the world forever by consigning them to Room 101 while they're at it. But today we've got a tiny little tweak to proceedings from the episodes that we've done in the past. We're still going to go across 2 episodes and have 3 rounds across those 2 pods. But our rounds today are going to be 3 specific rounds. So we're going to have one choice that centers around summer holidays, which should be apt at the moment. Then we're going to have one football specific choice. And then in the final round, in part 2, the lads can choose anything in life that gets on Andrew or Jonny's nerves. So without further ado, I need to introduce our angry people. And first up, we have Andrew Smithson. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, mate. You've given me a new lease of life. When you told me that we're going to be able to expand to non-football topics, I was like, right, where's that list?
And Andrew's reply to that message was, "Oh, right, when we're doing this one." Right. I think I would probably fair to say it's longer than your football list, Andrew.
I try and present this image of me being, just a happy-go-lucky fella, but the problem wasn't coming up with something; it was narrowing it down to just 2 topics. So yeah.
Well, look, just very quickly. Well, actually, I'll come on to it, but we are recording just after England have been knocked out of the World Cup. It might date this pod slightly because we're not sure when this is going to go out, but. I was saying just before, a little bit of a shrug of the shoulders for me, considering how the game went, Andrew. But I'm not sure what your initial thoughts were.
Yeah, I was disappointed, but not feeling anything like the levels of despair I would for Sunderland losing or anything like that. I'm conscious that this is now my my audition for something like LBC. So I should be, I should be saying, sack the lot of them. They're a disgrace. They shouldn't be allowed back in the country. But we lost to the world champions in the semi-finals. It's probably about right for what you would have expected.
Yeah.
I'm not pleased at all, and I would have loved us to have got to the final. But I've said before, this World Cup in general, I think there's bigger issues with this World Cup. I don't like how football's going. England losing is what it is. I will, though, just point out whenever these big England defeats happen, I'm always grateful for the fact that I just work on my own nowadays. I'm just in the van. I don't need to listen to the radio. I don't need to listen to people wailing, and I can just turn some music on or just block it out my mind, and I move on pretty quickly.
Well, we might talk about it a little bit more in a second, because next up, we, of course, have Johnny Hawley. Hello, Johnny.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, mate. And yeah, were you as excited about having a free reign to choose whatever you like that got on your nerves in life?
It was exciting, but I also felt under pressure a bit, I was like, whoa, I've got so much to choose from here. I need to make sure they're good. So, we'll leave it up to the listeners to be the judge of that. I would say I'll leave it up to you to be the judge, but I don't trust you to judge me, Chris.
No, I've gotten pelters for some of my choices, especially the, well, maybe spoilers, but especially the Alan Shearer one. So if people want to go back and listen to that, and maybe give me pelters afterwards, feel free. But Johnny, England getting knocked out by Argentina, as Andrew hinted there, you could maybe say, in golfing terms, maybe this was par.
Well, I mean, of course it was par. We're 4th ranked in the world. We're probably going to get battered off France on Saturday and then finish 4th at the World Cup. So, exact level of performance that we should have done. As Andrew, I mean, echo everything Andrew said, to be honest. Like, I'm really, really disappointed we didn't make it through, because it would have been brilliant to get to watch us in the final. But we'd have probably lost that anyway, if we're being honest. And I think we were all saying just before we started recording, if that had been Sunderland in a semi-final of a major competition, first of all, I wouldn't have been at work. I'd have been no good to anybody for a good 24 to 48 hours before kickoff. And I certainly wouldn't be sat here chipping today, able to laugh and joke with you lads on a podcast. I think I'd currently be horizontal in a dark room somewhere with my eyes and ears and mouth closed, trying to numb myself to the world. So, yeah, not quite the same level of pain.
Well, I did say if that was a Europa League semi-final, say next season or something like that, Johnny. I mean, for a start, at times I had to remind myself that England were playing on Wednesday for a start. But yeah, I mean, if it was it, I wouldn't have slept for 3 or 4 nights or whatever before the Sunderland semi-final. I would have been screaming at referees' decisions, whereas with England, I can take a step back and go, yeah, referee wasn't, I didn't have a huge part in the game or whatever, it was down to other things. So it's just got a completely different feeling, hasn't it? I mean, you're invested, but not as much as Sunderland, and you're not hurting, are you, afterwards?
No, and if we had held on to win and got to the final, I would tell you right now, it's 100% guaranteed I'd have been celebrating Ballard against Coventry a hell of a lot more than I'd have been celebrating England, even though it was a World Cup semi-final. I think that tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? Like, the levels of quality are obviously nowhere near each other in terms, the World Cup is, humongous and what have you, but it just isn't the same, and it never will be. It's sort of nice in a way, because it means for England, you get excited when they win, but you can kind of just shrug it off when they lose. Whereas with Sunderland, no such luck. Very much, yeah, excitement when we win. Not quite so calm and level-headed when we get beat, are we?
Yeah, well, I'd say in England terms, I think it just brought forward the heartache from Sunday to Wednesday night, basically. But yeah, Andrew, I mean, let's say you were able to get through to GB News or whatever it is you call up to the vent on. Yeah, would you have been so harsh on Thomas Tuchel and some of the decisions he's made as people have been making out? Because for me, it was just, I mean, I have to admit, as soon as, and I genuinely, I said this at the time, and it had nothing to do with who he plays for. I said, as soon as I saw Dan Burn on the sidelines and I realised the substitution he was making, I said, this is a massive risk. This could go horribly wrong.
Yeah, the goals felt inevitable by the time they happened. Did Dan Burn come on at 1-0 up or at 1-1? I can't remember. I can't even remember now.
1-0 up after 70 minutes.
Oh yes. He came on. He came on relatively early. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't even be picking up the phone for GB News. Can I just say I wouldn't be ringing them, full stop. But,
Well,
but
I don't think you'd be on this pod if you were the type to ring up GB News and.
yeah. But I can't get vexed enough to be that cross. Yeah, it did look as if our tactics were a bit too defensive and we didn't have an out ball. But without at the risk of sounding unpatriotic, I'm over it. I am. Do you know the first news stories I've looked for today are Sunderland transfer links,
Yeah.
and we got mentioned with a possible left back from France. Yes,
Yeah.
or he plays for a French club. He's not somebody I know much about, so I wanted to read up on him. I haven't even. I haven't really been like, oh, bloody hell, man, Tuchel, what a disgrace, or anything like that. It's just not. It's not on my radar enough. Yeah, he probably could have done something different, but hey, man, if we all played for Hindsight United or whoever, we'd all be, winning World Cups and that.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that gives me a perfect opportunity there, Andrew. Thank you for the segue to say that if you want all the latest on Sunderland FC, go to rugreport.com because I'm sure all of what Andrew's just said is all the information's on there. But actually, just to bring it specific to our Room 101s, because you ended up being very relevant, Andrew, in the England-Norway game when the ball appeared to hit off your hated spider cam, and there was a bit of, it was a bit controversial whether the goal should have stood because of it.
Do you know that hadn't even crossed my mind? You've left us flummoxed by saying I was relevant, Chris.
Relevant and right, actually.
I'm just going to enjoy that for the moment.
He's gonna cut that little bit and put it on his. It's going to be his new ringtone on his
Oh,
phone.
You're going to retire now, Andrew, and go out with your head held high.
I am liking the sound of all of this. The only thing about all of that was FIFA said, "Oh, the ball didn't hit the cable," despite some fairly conclusive evidence that it did, and everyone was just like, "Yeah, that's where we're at now." Listen, FIFA will tell us one thing. We probably don't believe them, but now it's going to change. So just apathy and shrug of the shoulders and come on, move on, Chris. Move on, Chris. Before I
Yeah, well, I like the line where they what they said, how they essentially tried to prove that the ball didn't hit off it. They said the heartbeat of the ball didn't change. I'm like, oh well, brilliant. As long as you've cleared that one up and everyone's clear on that, then that's fine. But just last one for you, Johnny, just on the World Cup, because we're obviously England's journey's done, but we're just about done in the whole thing at the time of recording. We've hammered it a bit on here. We've had our specific World Cup picks and all this sort of stuff over the last few weeks. But what do you reckon of this World Cup as a whole? What will it be remembered for? Is it going to be the football? Is it going to be off the pitch stuff? How will we look back on the 2026 World Cup?
I've got a nasty, horrible feeling it's going to be remembered as the hydration break World Cup. If that starts getting crowbarred in more and more to different competitions, I think, it'll be pretty directly traceable back to the 2026 World Cup where it all kind of got the green light and started in earnest. And I think that it's like the hydration break stuff is a perfect microcosm of what FIFA are doing to the game in general. You've got this, supposedly it's going to be a half an hour long halftime show for the World Cup final when, per the literal laws of the game, halftime's never supposed to exceed, is it 20 or 25 minutes? So, as Andrew said, FIFA just, they've been saying one thing, doing the other, just totally riding roughshod over, some traditional and should be sacred parts of the game. It's not, this is not the first time that's happened, don't get us wrong, but possibly the one where it's thrown into the sharpest relief. So in a weird sort of slightly masochistic way, I'm kind of glad England have gone out so that we get to just remember this tournament for being a horrible cash grab by FIFA and all the Trump stuff as well. Like he'll probably be holding the World Cup on the podium after the final and, Now we get to just laugh at all that and call it all out instead of, if we'd lost in the final and we came out afterwards and started going, oh, well, this World Cup was a disgrace anyway, Infantino's rubbish. I don't think the message hits quite as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, sorry, go on, Andrew.
I was just going to say, is that the answer for anybody upset at England losing to Argentina? Just say it was a political statement by the players who wanted no part of this. And actually, we've been very, dignified in how we've bowed out.
I'm going to start cracking that one out every game. Sunderland lose this season as well. We're just taking a principled stand against the greed of the Premier League, actually, guys. We can't stand the branding everywhere. That's what it is.
Yeah, you should be applauding us, not criticising us.
Yeah. It's our hatred of the Europa League anthem for the fact that we went out in the group stage.
Always hated orange and black, me. Always hated it.
And yeah, I will put a caveat out that actually talking about what this World Cup will be remembered for. We are recording before that final and before the halftime show. So there could be some sort of wardrobe malfunction or something like this World Cup is remembered for in that halftime show. But anyway, let's get on with the Room 101, gents. Because now that I think I've got you both oiled up in terms of being angry about something.
I normally have to pay for that.
Yeah, I'm cheap compared to some others, Johnny. We'll go through prices later. But again, we'll go through this over 2 podcasts. We'll have 3 rounds, so it's best of 3 as usual. And in our first episode, we will go through the lads' choices for their pet hates that centre around summer holidays. So I'm going to start with you, Andrew, for your summer holiday Room 101 choice.
Well, Room 101 has taken a very strange turn now that I know it's actually you with a bottle of baby oil and a price list. I'm not sure I want to be in Room 101 now.
What a thought that is. Well, actually, it might. It's a good segue into your first choice, isn't it?
Well,
potentially.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I was going to complain about hotel showers, and at no point do I take a bottle of baby oil in the hotel showers. This is not even GB News would be touching this with a barge pole. Yeah. So, summer holidays was the topic, and like I say, I quite like the idea of, having an opinion on anything other than football. And hotel showers. We're heading away to visit the in-laws in a couple of weeks' time. We're going to be stopping in a hotel, and I know exactly what it's going to be like, because budget places, canny places, a special occasion, you might treat yourself to an upmarket hotel. Always the same. The showers are just an affront to human dignity, and even more so when there's baby oil. Water pressure, nah. I'm not bothered with water pressure. Either it feels like you're having a golden shower because somebody's stood above you, just tinkling out, or you feel as if your body's been like riddled with bullets from like some sort of automatic rifle, somebody's just like absolutely pounded you. That's if you can even work out how to switch on the showers and the taps in a hotel, because I don't. And listen, I don't mean to brag. I got a couple of GCSEs. I did have an education, I'm not as thick as I sound. I should be able to work out a tap. The shower curtains in these places, they're like a magnet to human flesh. As soon as you switch on the shower, that like bizarre plastic sheet just sticks to you. You can't get it off. You can't get it off your skin. You don't know where you are, so you close your eyes because there's water in your eyes. You've got matey bubble bath in your eyes or whatever, but you can't remember where you put the soap or whatever because it's not your usual setup. There's nowhere to hang your towel. So you've got to leave your towel on the toilet seat, which, the whole reason I'm in the shower is I want to get clean. I don't want to then dry myself off with like a piece of bog paper. just I know it's first world problems, and Room 101 should be changed to Andrew and Johnny's first world problems because, yeah, there's bigger things, but why should having a wesh just be such a ball ache? Oh, and they're fixed to the wall. You kind of get the things off the wall. So like, I'm a big lad. I need to be able to get into like all the nooks and crevices. You ain't doing that with some sort of like thing stuck to the wall. So there you go.
Okay. Okay, well, first question is, what type of hotels are you staying in?
Come on. So that picture I've painted there, Chris, you kind of tell me that's different to your experiences.
To be fair, it has been, but only when I've got that. Well, usually I would say the majority of the time it's when you get that last minute cheap travel lodge thing where you're like, oh, we have to stay there overnight before we do something or we'll go to a wedding or something like that. But,
Hang on, is a travel lodge not is there better alternatives? Maybe that's where I've been going wrong.
You
I
never heard
thought
Premier Inn, Andrew? Come on, man, broaden your horizons.
because what what I was going to say, I would say for me, hotel showers or going on holiday and all this probably has my best and worst experiences in terms of having a shower. Because I've booked hotels and things where, you have the big, massive wet rooms and the shower's absolutely fantastic. And I've been in the hotels as well where they've got a three-way shower. They've got overhead one, a handheld one, and one that comes straight out at you from the thing. And you
you
can
sure
put
you
all
weren't
three
having
on
a
it.
wash in the jacuzzi facilities? You sure?
It was- yeah. So, and you can put all three on at the same time. And it's like I've just went, oh my God, I can stay in all day.
In the words of Jurgen Klopp, I need to get on Trivago because the places I'm stopping at don't have any of these sorts of luxuries.
Well,
Three different points.
oh,
What are
but
you
yeah.
about?
I mean, Johnny, I mean, if you were nodding your head a little bit there, do you know what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, I do, but to be fair, I could stick them in room 101. I hate them three-way showers 'cause I'm
Ah,
always like,
come
I'm
on. You've
I'm
got a
always
choice,
I'm
though.
I'm I'm always petrified I'm gonna do the wrong one and just blast a load of water straight into me face when I get in the shower, though. And I tell you what, I think, it's revealing a lot about our various travel preferences. Because as Andrew was speaking, I was nodding along to every word thinking, "Well, there's no original experiences left to have in the world," I think, 'cause every single word of what he's saying I've experienced 100 times. But to be fair, Chris, I'll give you one thing, and that is that some of the nicest showers I've ever had have been in hotels. They just don't tend to be ones I've booked or paid for. So maybe that's the
Oh,
disconnect.
no, tell you what, I'm at an age now where I do my research and make sure. But going specifically summer holiday showers, Andrew, because one thing I will say about it, and going back to especially when I was a young'un and daft as a brush, they were usually either medicinal because I was rough and they just you had to get a shower just basically to try and feel semi-human again. But the other thing is you were usually sunburnt because you'd been a bit daft drinking in the sun all day and you were red as a lobster. You'd go in that shower and quite often it'd be either a painful experience or a relieving experience when you were completely sunburnt. You didn't know what temperature to put it at and all that sort of stuff. And it ended up just being a nightmare.
I don't want to know about your relieving experiences in hotel showers. And I don't want to even ask why Johnny's going back to hotel rooms that he hasn't booked or paid for. I don't. That's your business, lads. But yeah,
Hopefully his other half doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, pre-arranged bookings, I would just like to make very clear. Just simply not ones where the card information comes from a Mr. J. Hawley.
yeah, fair enough. Um, but yeah, you're right. So your skin is like frazzled to a crisp. Oh, I know. I'll just like have vacuum tight plastic stuck to it because I've turned the shower on. Peeling that off sunburned skin is like that is torture. I think you're right though. Actually, Chris, usually usually hotel showers are as a result of just trying to bring yourself back to life after you've woken up after a wedding that got a bit heavy the night before, or you're away with the lads. And that's also a problem about hotel bathrooms. If you're away with the lads and there's only one bathroom,
Oh God.
not
Oh
not
well.
not nice, is it? For
Yeah.
various reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
but
think
I'll take you.
we've all got stories that we probably couldn't tell on the podcast
Yeah,
about that sort of
exactly.
experience.
Exactly. But I take your point. I thought I'd been in the odd nice venue, but maybe I need to just splash the cash a bit more in future.
Well, just on them, because actually one of my pet hates about this is there's always signs all over the place saying make sure it doesn't like leak anywhere or you don't flood the place and all this sort of stuff. And like you said, either the shower rails, the curtains crap, or they put a glass thing that doesn't fit properly and doesn't. So you have to. And then there's ones that are half broken. The one that annoys me as well is where it's not just attached to the wall. It actually you can't take it off, but the actual thing's broken and you can't put it on. So you actually have to hold it. You've got no choice other than to hold it. That's another one I'm up at. You did mention the other thing, some hotel towels. Now you talked about drying yourself off with a bit of bog roll, and some towels that you get provided, you might as well use the bog roll.
Well, again, I'm quite a big lad, and some of these towels are scandalous how small they are. They're not covering. They're
It's a
not
flannel.
covering enough. Yeah, exactly. And that's not me being big-headed. Um, uh, yeah, I know exactly what you're on about, but that's why I take my own towels 9 times out of 10 to avoid that type of thing. Because you know for a flying fact that the only time there'll be a fire alarm is when I'm in the shower and I'm stood in some hotel car park with a flannel at the front and a flannel at the back. So no, it's I take my own towels to avoid that type of unfortunate scenario.
Well, on that point, I think it's time for us to have a quick break just to cool off for a couple of minutes. So we'll be back after these ads.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Listen to the heartbeat.
Chevy is called the heartbeat of America for a reason. With SUVs made to move with your rhythm. The versatile Equinox tackles your entire day. The spacious Traverse fits your crew and your whole weekend. And Trax brings style with value you can count on. All infused with tech that has your back, so your drive always hits the right chord. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
And welcome back to How We're the Podcast. And in the first part, we had Andrew's choice. That was based around summer holidays to go into room 101. And he picked hotel showers and everything around crap hotel showers that went into it. And you could sense the passion behind, and Andrew's still staring into space thinking of that potential occasion where he's in that car park, all exposed with that crap hotel.
I'm just hoping that that ad break you teed up there, I'm just hoping that it's brought to you by Travelodge or Premier Inn or one of these companies who I've just been slating.
Yeah, do your research, people. But yeah, to go against that, of course, we need Johnny's summer holiday choice to go into room 101.
Yeah, so continuing on the theme of Andrew and Johnny's first world problems, this is the shops in airports and their ridiculous opening hours. Now, as I say that out loud, I think, bloody hell, are you a Tory or something? So I do apologise for where I've pitched this one. But, the whole point of an airport, right, is it's a travel hub for international destinations where, by design, you're going to have all sorts of people coming from all sorts of places on all sorts of schedules, right? It seems the most no-brainer easy decision in the world to go, shall we make the shops in the airport where every single one of these travelers has to pass through, should we make them be open when people are coming through, actually, so they can go in and spend their money and give us money and we can make a lot of money? Is it just me who thinks that might be a bit of a money spinner? Because it seems that no airport directors or whoever's in charge of making these decisions shares this, this train of thought, because the amount of times I've been in airports at, slightly nocturnal hours of the day or that kind of thing, and you're knackered, you're traveling, nobody's having a great experience on a long journey, especially if you've got to make a layover or anything like that. You're thirsty, you're a bit hungry, you're a bit crabby because you cannot be bothered. You think, I'll just nip to one of the shops, get yourself a bar of chocolate and a bottle of pop just to, while away a bit of time and, make yourself feel better. So then you embark on a 20-minute friggin' maze journey around the airport as you pass shop after shop after shop with the shutters down and the lights off, or the most annoying ones when the shutters are half down and you can see a pair of feet just sort of underneath the shutters wandering around, and I know you're in there. Just let us in for a bar of bloody dairy milk, man. But no such luck. You get back to where you started, you sit down and you realise, I seem to be trapped in this horrible, grey, miserable building with nothing to see or do for the next, however long. What a great experience that is. All because the bloody shops are shut. Anyway, rant over.
Well, actually, it's a bit close to home for us a little bit, because our very own Craig Chapman had a bit of experience of this, and I'll apologise, Craig, if I get the story wrong, but I think he was, I think this was a year or two ago or so, he was going away on holiday, had the kids, really young kids with him and all this sort of stuff, rocked up to the airport, and of course, as usual, his flight was massively delayed when he got there. So they had to wait around for hours and hours and hours with young kids, as you do, which is awful anyway. And then eventually, after waiting hours and hours and hours, the flight was cancelled. But while they were waiting, I think, from memory, because they were waiting so long, they'd waited kind of from one morning to basically mid-morning the next day or something like that in the airport. They were handed out at some point in the evening, they were handed out free vouchers to get food and all of this, to say, fill your boots because, you've been here so long. Everything was shut. So they were given vouchers and couldn't actually spend them, and then sent away before anything else reopened again. And you're just like, what is that? But the whole concept of it, the whole idea, Johnny, is it's so bizarre. Why doesn't the whole thing shut? Why have flights? If you have flights and you're saying to everybody, come to this place, and you've got, let's say, I don't know, kind of if the number of flights go down or if they stay the same per hour and all that sort of stuff as they do during the day. I mean, if they're flying, then why shouldn't it? It should be the same amount of flights. So if it's open, why isn't the place open?
Yeah, exactly. Your Honour, I rest my case. Chris, you just put forth all the same arguments that I would be making, probably in a slightly more eloquent and less aggressive way than I would as well.
But surely they should match the flight times.
Exactly.
If you've got flights all through the night, you've got people who want stuff.
Exactly. And not just that. The thing that was illustrated perfectly with that little anecdote that you just shared as well is you're a captive audience as well. Yeah. You literally can't leave. Especially once you've been through security, then you literally can't leave. But even before then, like, what you're going to do? Oh, I've got a flight in, an hour and a half. Let us just get a taxi into the city centre and go to the shop and then get a taxi back just so I can go and get myself a bottle of water. It's ridiculous.
But that's it. It's like, right, well, you turn up 2 hours early. Right, okay, I'll follow the instructions, no worries. You get there, within, you're there an hour, fancy a drink.
Yep.
And even if it's a bottle of water, even it's like, oh God, I'm thirsty or anything like that. I mean, of course, you got vending machines and all this sort of stuff, but I don't, like you said, you've got all these people who can't leave, like you have during the day, because look, these companies pay a lot of money to have these shops within airports because it's almost like an exclusive thing, because you've got these people who can't go anywhere else. other than go shopping or grab some food or grab a butty or grab a drink. So you've got them there. You've got them in the palm of your hand. So even if it's a skeleton staff,
Yep.
I don't get it. And this, the whole thing of, and again, people being delayed. So you said 2 hours early. What if you're there for a full night and basically you get there when things shut and basically your flight boards when things are just about to open?
Yeah,
You don't get a chance.
not via delays, but just via being an extremely skinned student and really stupid. Me and my mate decided to get flights to Barcelona that involved 11-hour overnight layovers in Spanish airports. I don't recommend that experience. If anyone's listening and planning a trip to Barcelona, just fly direct. It's worth it.
I'll admit you're losing us a little bit here, John.
But I ended up in your exact
Get back on
situation there,
track.
where we turned up, we landed at 10, 11 p.m. or whatever, or whatever time it was on the evening, and there we were just in the airport overnight, and then left, first thing in the next morning. So we got there just in time for everything to shut, be closed all through the night, and then start opening up just after we left the next morning. So literally just a whole night where nothing's open, and it's not like there was only us in the airport. There was planes full of people, and everyone was just sat around, miserable, hungry, thirsty, tired, grouchy. Just a little Snickers bar or a Kit Kat or little can of Fanta would have just eased all the burdens and worries, and we would have just glided seamlessly through the night like nobody's business. But no, a horrible experience was had all around by everybody. And if they just opened up one shop, like you said, Chris, even if it's just a skeleton crew, I'm not saying we need a McDonald's and a Burger King and a KFC and a Subway.
Whoa! Hang on a minute. Whoa! Let's not go crazy. We do need those things.
No, but not
potentially all four as well.
But we don't need
It's 2 hours,
We don't need every single shop you could ever imagine, but a few would be nice, lads.
Those four specifically.
All those in a WH Smith selling water bottles for £5 a pop. That's what you need.
Yeah,
That's what makes an airport.
Yeah, and a Gordon Ramsay and all that sort of stuff. And
aye.
But Andrew, airport shops having closing times. Do you think it makes sense?
Well, I'm thinking I'm just going to get the ferry for all of Sunderland's Europa League games now, because Johnny's reminded me being stuck in an airport is grim.
You'll be lucky to get tickets for anything for Sunderland's first. Yeah, I think half the people will be walking to whatever European venue it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other half will be stuck starving to death in a airport.
Never so many people swam the channel in 1 year than the one coming up.
World record attempt, lads? No. Sunderland.
Yeah, Sunderland are away and you can't get a ticket for a flight. Thousands of us at Dover. Right, come on now, lads. Let's settle.
These lads are serious when they want to protect their fishing quotas.
We'll be getting in the dinghies to go back.
Why do I feel like I'm on GB News again?
What we're talking about? I can't remember. Airports.
Yeah, airports. I can fully understand where Johnny's coming from. I liked how he mentioned a load of like British chocolates, because in my mind, whenever I'm in airports, you can only buy stuff like Ritter Sport.
Choco Liveness and all that.
Yeah. Those like those things where you're not quite sure what they are.
Proper holiday chocolate.
Yeah. Or there is a shop open and it's like for perfume or something. And you're like, I don't need sunglasses for coming back home to Britain. I don't need perfume or whatever. So we always have this, Chris. I know the game is I need to be ripping this suggestion to shreds, but it makes like what, as Johnny said, if you're running a shop, why would you not want it open?
When there's going to be people there
to bring in revenue. It just doesn't. doesn't add up to me.
Just to return the kindness briefly, mind that stuff you were saying about the shower curtain sticking to you. I felt that deep in my bones, Andrew, because moved into a flat a few years ago, and my shower had one of them style shower curtains. It's every day for about 6 months because I was too lazy to buy a new one. Get in the shower, vortex appears, sucks the bloody shower curtain straight onto us. Not fun on a frigid December morning, was that?
No, on Star Wars, I think it's Han Solo gets like
Frozen in carbonite.
it's like that.
Just up there like that against the shower curtains. Sorry for all the audio listeners, which is everyone, but if that was visual, you'd have had a lovely Han Solo reenaction there.
Yeah.
Talking about sessions with baby oil and Han Solo. I mean, I don't know where this podcast's gone, to be honest. It's got away from me a little bit.
How is airports the most on-topic thing on a Sunderland podcast, by the way? I feel like it's a glitch in the Matrix.
If we get back on track for a second, I'm going to try, because Andrew's gone. But Johnny, in general, why do they make airports so much of a hateful place to be in when they force you to be there for so long?
I'd love to know. I'd love to just have a little sit down and chat with whoever was designing airports. Mate, yes, some interesting ideas you've had. Just wondered why you've gone for the most oppressive colour scheme possible and the blandest possible design. I wondered why you made all the gates be sort of 6,000 miles away from each other so that as soon as you get your gate call, you've got to embark on some kind of crazy sprint through the airport to make it. We could go on and on, couldn't we? We could expound upon issue after issue. They're just horrible, horrible places to be. And the little things that could bring you that little ounce of joy. Other chocolates are available. I can't remember what I said before. We're not tied to any particular brand, don't worry. But
I was just thinking Toblerone. That's my airport go-to. But anyway,
well, we're all allowed to like Swiss chocolate again as well because granite stain and also Toblerones are back on the menu, but not if you're in an airport.
Well, go on, Andrew.
I was going to say one good thing about everywhere being closed at an airport is you don't get your mate sending you the photo of the airport pint at like 5:30 in the morning or whatever, because it's to make you jealous. But the point is, mate, you know that when you get back to work, I've got my week off. So I'm just going to send a photo of you with the same thing. So you've not beat us or anything.
Just on that, and you might know this maybe better than Johnny, and you'll know what I mean in a second. But for me, there's two different experiences, to be fair. You've just mentioned it there. And I'm going to go with some of my mates in about a week's time as well to the airport and fly off somewhere for a weekend. But there's two different experiences in an airport. There's the one with your mates where you go and have a fry up and a pint of Guinness and it just flies by. It goes by in 5 minutes. And then there's the one where you go with the kids and the family. And you feel like when you get on the plane, you've been in the airport for about 3 days.
That's a very fair point. And yeah, I reckon if we asked Johnny before flying away and he's with the lads or he's with his partner and it's been lovely and like you say, you've had a fry up and a couple of jars or whatever, Johnny's probably like, hey, airports are the best place in the world. This is the land of like dreams and anticipation. Yeah, you're right. I mean, is that not just life in general? There's before responsibilities and after responsibilities. And the two things are just complete opposite ends of the scale.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I was happy for a fleeting moment there, and I've just been brought back down to earth because you've described my life. So thank you very much, Andrew. But I think on that note, I think we've exhausted airports and showers because you just keep wanting to go back to that. So I think it's a good time to decide what's going into room 101 out of those two gents. And we'll start off with hotel showers, Andrew. And as I said, I can't put that Uber shower in where I didn't want to get out all day, and that's a hotel shower. I've had the best showers ever when I've gone away, and I've just thought, imagine if I got this at home and all that sort of stuff, where huge, loads of space and all that sort of stuff. I've also had the worst shower experiences in my life in hotels, probably, but Yeah, I just can't put that Uber shower in. That's the only thing in my mind. I can't get it out of my mind.
Is that a German invention? The Uber shower.
The Uber shower, I can't get that out of my head.
Well, I thought it was a throw forward to one of my picks in the next episode, actually, Chris. So that was quite good. Listen, Chris, who am I kidding? I'm the man who couldn't get Alan Shearer into a Sunderland Room 101. So, yeah, do what you want, mate. Fill your boots. I don't even know why I bothered with that one. It was never going to get in, was it?
No, I was on the fence, but like I said, I can't get the Uber shower out of my
Fair
head.
enough.
So, it's in there. Johnny, airport shops having closing times. I have to admit, when I thought about Craig Chapman's experience, and he had to drive back from Manchester after all that and all this sort of stuff, and nothing was. He got given. Go on, fill your boots, get loads of food for you and the band. Nothing open. I mean, I can't not. I can't not put it in, if that makes sense. So it has to go into Room 101. Airport shops should be there for people who are locked in, and be available for people to buy stuff and to buy their holiday tat. Because we've all spent that 50 quid on a device we didn't need or something like that. So we all need the opportunity to waste our money on absolute crap and eat far too much crap at the same time. So I think it has to go into Room 101.
Do you know, Chris, I knew I had you as soon as you started telling that story about Craig. I knew. I was like, he's like putty in the palm of my hand here. I'm just going to shape him how I want him and I'm going to win this round.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I was angry as soon as you brought that up. So I think it had to go in.
But I've learned my lesson from trying to put in that thing defenders do to get fouls on the corner, and then you went, "Oh, well, I do that every week." That was my go-to move.
Yeah, you were chucking me into Room 101 by doing that.
Yeah, exactly. I've learned my lesson.
But anyway, I think that's a good point to leave us for part one of our Room 101. So well done to Johnny, and I'm sure you'll have better luck next time, Andrew, I'm sure. But thanks again, everyone, for listening. Look, we'll have 2 more rounds in part 2, of course, and we've got a couple of controversial picks, which Andrew started to touch on a little bit, coming up in the next part that I think I'm looking forward to. But we'll see. But that's all we've got for part 1. So until then, it's bye for now.
I recently got back from a holiday in Belek in Turkey. It was brilliant, but I did spend it looking longingly at the golf courses in the area. In reality, if I'd taken my clubs, I probably would have come back from that family holiday single. It's a brilliant place, stunning beaches, 5-star hospitality in some of the best hotels on earth, but for me, just getting out on those courses would have been the icing on the cake. Search Turkey on TripAdvisor now to book your ultimate golf holiday in the Turkish Riviera.